Hey everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing the Eachine E011 block drone, which is basically a way of talking about a Lego. Since they can't use the word Lego, they use the word block. There's a red version, which is the Dark Knight, which I have, and then there's a blue version called the Bright Saint. This is basically just a micro quadcopter. It's a ducted fan quadcopter that you could make into a tiny whoop. It's, I think, pretty much exactly the same as the Eachine E011, except for they added this, I said Lego guy on top, which is a little crooked at the moment. I am going to fly him today with the, I'm going to call him Lego for the lack of a better term, even though it's not technically a Lego. I'm going to fly him with him on today, at least to start out. I may, I think of it, take him off to show you the difference. Because it's on the top, it's going to be a little bit top heavy. So it's a little bit more of a sloppy flyer with it on, especially with 360 flips, as you would expect, additional weight. You do have to assemble this Lego guy. And if you crash, it's going to be pretty easy to knock off, an arm or a sword. That's the two things that have fallen off. I haven't lost them, but this is a neat kind of a novelty for kids. But be mindful that if you crash, there's a good chance you could very well lose parts to this Lego guy if you fly with him on, especially outdoors. If you crash into something, it'd be pretty easy to lose, like I said, part of an arm or the sword. Those are the two things that have fallen off the most for me. Let's see here. It's got blue, the blue and red LEDs, one in the front and one in the back. I will verify those when I turn it on. Flight time is about 6 minutes, more like 5:45, because I had to stop a few times while timing. And about 15 seconds of that is the LVC. It's relatively short. This is mostly made for indoors flying, so you would not fly this outdoors unless it's a very calm day. It does use the 4-prop ducted fan, so it's got plenty of lift. It's very stable and nice flyer. Now it's very windy today. I got my garage partially down to try to reduce some of that. We'll see what it's like if the wind does come gusting in here, how that does affect it. It comes with a charger here that really basic for the battery. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes to charge up the battery. The light goes on and off when you're finished, and it uses a 260 milliamp 3.7 volt 1S LiPo, the 30C rating. So, it gives a decent amount of punch and respectable flight time, close to 6 minutes, which is not bad for a little micro ducted fan quadcopter. It does come with a full set of extra 4-blade props and a Phillips screwdriver, which mostly for taking the screw off the controller, which I'll show you, because most of these have a little safety screw for the AAA batteries or AA batteries. It takes AAAs. I think it takes 3. Yes, 3. I don't worry about that. It snaps on good, so you don't really need to put that screw in unless you're really worried about little kids getting a hold of it. The controller is your standard peanut style, very size, very tiny controller. And it does have a full pitch and roll trim here. What would be the yaw trim is actually for your rates, and there's 2 rates. It's like a 40% and 100% rate. I'll probably fly mostly at 100, especially with this wind that's coming flying into the garage. To push in on the left stick will put you into headless mode, if you like to fly that way. Pressing on the right stick, it will let you do a 360 flip in the direction you want to go. Now, in instructions, it does mention something called a brick mode, which if you hold it down for 2 seconds, I think, it's almost like they were trying to design this to where you could fly it with or without the Lego, but I'm not sure what the advantage would be. I've tried it numerous times in my test flights. I've flown this thing multiple times, and it'll either flip or it gets kind of squirrely on me. I don't know if they were looking for a lower output or something to where I could fly longer without it. I don't know what the brickless mode would be. But it doesn't seem to operate or do anything for me. And I've looked at a few other reviews because I just see if anybody else can figure out, and I don't think they have either. Pretty much the same answers I have come up with on that. So I would ignore that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here and put the battery in, and we'll go ahead and take it up here in the garage for a short test flight. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got it bound up, and as I said, there is a red in the front and a blue in the back, single LEDs for orientation. Works fine, especially for indoors. One other thing that I forgot to mention on the controller is how to calibrate the gyros, which I always like to do before I fly, and that is going to be, I'll put it out here. I don't know if it's going to show up or not. I will face it towards us. But it's down and to the right. Hopefully that's showing up, and they flash until they stop, and that calibrates the gyros. To reset headless mode direction is down and to the left, and it'll be a slower flash. It does it like 3 times. I'll do it again. Three or 4 flashes there. It does also mention it has 1 key return, but it doesn't really have 1 key return. This is very similar to like the JJR CH36 and the Furby F36. I have not had the JJRC, but I did have the Furby. I couldn't figure out the 1 key return on it either. But this one, the instruction manual pretty much says, when you're headless mode, you just pull the controller left stick back towards at at yourself, and that brings it back, which is essentially all 1 key return is telling the quadcopter to fly in the opposite direction that it's facing when it took off. And it's just telling you to do it rather than actually press a button. So that's a bit misleading on the advertising because it's not technically a 1 key return. You have to pull it back at you. And with something this small, in my opinion, 1 key return is pointless because that's made to be used if you're flying farther away from you and you want it to come back, or if you lose orientation. Inside of a house, you should not need to use 1 key return at all. So headless mode is basically for a beginner, and if you want to bring it back towards you, you just pull back the opposite direction it was facing when it took off. So I think that covers it all now. I always want to forget the gyro calibration in my initial review. So let's go ahead and we'll take it up. I'm going to go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and take it up in the highest rate. And see, it does pretty good considering you've got that guy on it. That was a gust of wind that came into the garage. So you can see that definitely is affecting it. I'm going to kind of keep him up a little higher here. But that wind coming into my garage is definitely going to wreak some havoc on this little guy. Let's do a few flips here while we get full battery power. So it does do it, as you can see, and it didn't even hit the ground, but that Lego guy on top is really adding a lot of extra weight. You're also going to get longer flight time with him off. I would think you might be able to get an extra minute, maybe, because that's a lot of weight you're adding on top of this guy. I have noticed too that with him on top, you do funnels or stuff that you almost need to sometimes recalibrate the gyros because that it's so top heavy with all that weight sticking up on top that it tends to can mess the gyros up a little bit. So if you're just going to fly this thing for fun and you're not a kid or you're not like a huge Lego fan, I would say take off the Lego guy. And the yaw is proportional and it does increase the rate. So see, it slows down there whenever I went to this is the lowest rate. Now I go to the highest rate, and the yaw, see, it does increase. It's not a huge increase, but it definitely does. There's the highest rate again. You can do funnels, but it does drop to the ground because of the weight of the Lego guy on top. Let's do another flip. I'm kind of getting stuck. Wind is just blowing right towards my garage. It's still blowing him around. That's it. It does do it decently considering all that weight on top. And those 4-blade ducted fans certainly helps with the lift. I think I can go ahead and land him here in my hand. I'm gonna take off the Lego guy because I really think you can really then get an idea. Set it down here. How this thing will fly. I'm going to recalibrate the gyros now with it off. Let's see how he flies with it off again, because I've flown it with it off. It's much sportier. Much, much better without that additional weight on top. Let's show you a funnel here. You see, look at the funnel. It's actually gaining altitude. So it's not falling to the ground it's doing it as you'd want a funnel to do. Let's do a flip here. See, a flip is, I tried to give it some throttle to try to recover like I would with the Lego on top, and I actually didn't need to. Need to give it a little bit of right trim. Some of that's that wind blowing in. See, there's, like I said, the funnel. It's going back up now. And it does not, it cannot do that with the Lego guy on top. Let's do another flip here. Just I banged into the ceiling again. Bad habit to want to give it extra throttle after the flip because I'm so used to the guy on top. Overall, this is a nice flyer. Very similar to the Furby F-36. You could certainly, like catch again, you certainly could, instead of the guy, put an AIO, if I could spit it out, all-in-one cam on top of it. If you have a head, some goggles and fly this in, make it into a tiny whoop and fly it around, this will certainly work. And considering that it can carry the guy, it can then carry a cam, because the cam is probably going to be similar weight. I did not weigh the little guy. If I remember, I will include his weight here in the video. Get a weight of him on the scale, and maybe the weight of the quadcopter with and without him on there, because that certainly every little gram makes a huge difference on these little micro quadcopters. So, like I said, it's definitely a novelty. There's no advantage or anything about having that little Lego guy on top. Just something that a kid, and I've got some nephews that are really into Legos, who I think would absolutely love this thing for that reason. So I can certainly see the reason that Eachine and Banggood is doing that, but there's certainly no advantage to it. You're decreasing the flight time, you're adding instability to it. It doesn't do good flips at all. You can't do funnels well with it. See, it's able to hold it. It drops some there on me. The battery's getting a little bit lower too. So I got a lot of wind blowing into the garage here. But I do like this guy a lot. I would just say, like I don't recommend putting a guy on top unless you're doing it for kids. Take it off, and this thing is a great little flyer. And just buy this one if you got a big Lego fan. You can add it to it to show off the Lego guy. In the red or the blue. Like I said, I've got this is the red one. Let's see if we can do another. Trim it up a little more. There, it's very stable when you get it, no wind, and you get it trimmed up. Flip back at me. I did that again. It does want, it is easy to do that when you're flipping. To find the right throttle position after the flip. Have to almost let up on the throttle a little bit. So overall, I really do like it. You're looking, like I said, around 5 minutes, 45 seconds, somewhere around there, with a pretty short LVC, basically an indoor flyer. So I think that shows off everything this guy can do between with and without the Lego guy on top. Also really affordable too. It's under $20. I don't remember the exact price. There will be a purchase link in this video description if you're interested in this, and I'll have the price listed next to it to Banggood, who makes the Eachine. It's their house brand, so this is only available from Banggood. All right, well, I think that covers everything. So have a good day. Be sure to subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and stay tuned for more reviews. Have a good day. Bye.
The power of the dark side.